she gave it away a little bit. I was going to ask you how many major fasts, but she said 7. How many minor fasts? 7. So, sort of gives it away. But yes, 7 major fasts up on the screen. First one, I tried to put them in date order to make life easy for you, by the way. FYI, this wasn't very easy to do either. So, first one, we have, it's after the Nativity, when Christ was born, we then have the Epiphany. But we start the Nativity fast in November technically, so I've done it on when the fast starts rather than when we celebrate it, okay? Just so you're not too confused. And Miki, if I do get anything wrong, please jump in at any point. Thank you. So, first one is the Feast of the Epiphany. Does anyone know what that is?
Do we know what it is?
You do?
What was the question?
The fast of the Epiphany.
Baptism.
The baptism of Christ, correct. That is... well done, I mean it's not hard. It's a bit of a trouble question, but yeah, well done. Yeah, it's basically what it is. So, the baptism of Christ is when, obviously Jesus was baptized. It was, the biblical reference for it, just in case you're wondering, was Luke chapter 1, verse 26 to 38. We then move on to the Feast of the Annunciation. Anyone know what that is? Sorry?
That's when they told St. Mary she's going to have food. Yeah.
Sorry, say what?
When they told St. Mary she's going to have food.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah. Just say. Okay, what did she say?
When they told St. Mary she's going to have Jesus.
Correct. This is going very well. So, yes, the Feast of the Annunciation is basically is when God was taking a human form. It's when the angel came to Mary and said to her, "You will have a child, and you will call him."
Jesus.
Oh goodness! Come on, guys, wake up! Yes, Jesus. So that is the second major fast that we have. All right. Third one, Lent. Easter. You can.
We just need to make a slight correction.
Yeah?
Fast and feast are 2 different things. So, technically we don't fast for the Annunciation, and the others are, the Epiphany doesn't have a fast in itself.
Yeah, it's just basically when you go to Mass.
Yeah.
So it's the same as fasting for a normal Sunday, but it's for Epiphany. Probably should have said that.
Are these fasts then that we're talking about, or the church feast celebrating Christ?
So, very open and honestly, it's a mixture of both. So, if it's a fast, I'll tell you if it's a fast, but if it's one of those days where you just fast normally for church, like you're coming to Mass for example, I'll tell you it's one of those. Deal? Deal. Cool. So, when do we get to the Lent? So, Lent, this is an actual fast. Do we know how many days we fast? 10.
No, 55.
Oh, 55, yes, correct. 55 days. So we fast 55 days, and why do we fast 55 days? 5 days, what's it? You're whispering.
I'm just trying to think. A week preparation.
Yeah.
A week for Holy Week, and then
40, I think it's like 40 something days. Like because he fasted.
Because Jesus fasted for 40 days, correct? Yes, exactly. That is exactly why. So in case no one heard it, 40 days because Jesus fasted, 7 days for preparation, and 7 days for Holy Week. 54 and 1 is an actual celebration. What does that mean? That is a loop? Oh yeah.
Right? So you have a week for preparation at the beginning, 40 days, 40 nights, and then you have 7 days for Holy Week. But then the extra day for the 55th day is Lazarus Saturday.
That's when he was raised from the dead, in case you were wondering who Cool. Then we have Palm Sunday. Again, this is not a fast. This is just it's one of those where you just fast before you come to church. So it's not an actual duration of the fast. It's more hours than days. So Palm Sunday. Why do we fast on Palm Sunday? Cool. It's literally on the screen. Jesus entered Jerusalem. Well done. Not hard. I think you're the only one that's probably switched on. Come on, guys. It can't be a two-way conversation. Sophia, you're one that loves talking, but you're talking a lot. Come on. So, Palm Sunday, we fast Palm Sunday. Why do we fast Palm Sunday? Because it marks the beginning of Holy Week. It marks the beginning of Jesus entering Jerusalem. And that is the reason why we do it. Because it's one of the major things, one of the major fasts that we take part in. Alright? We good so far? So how many have we done so far? 4. Well done. You guys can count. Amazing. Okay. The next one. This is an actual fast, and this is the Apostles' fast. So, yes, got it right. So this is the Apostles' fast. Again, so this one is June, July, roughly speaking. The reason I put June, July is because again it all differs on when it lands in the calendar. Because obviously, as you know, we don't use a Western calendar. We use, what's the calendar called? You know those things you're dishing out, if people get it right, you might start handing stuff out. Yeah, brilliant. If you get it right, you get, I don't know what they're called, but no, you're part of, you know the answer. Yeah, but, okay, go on. It is the Gregorian calendar. Can we choose even one because it's search? Half. I don't think we can rip it in half. So yes, so it's called the Gregorian calendar. So most of these dates are actually on the Gregorian calendar. So for example, the feast of, sorry, it's not touchscreen. The Annunciation, to start off with, right? The Annunciation is 29 Baramot. Probably means something. Sorry, my Arabic's not the best. So that's the actual date. Then you've got the Nativity, which we haven't come to yet. But the Nativity, you know what, let's touch base on the Nativity. So, Nativity starts in end of November-ish, give or take, beginning of December, mostly end of November. Okay? Why do we fast in November? Why do we fast for Nativity? Christmas, yes. Exactly it. No, it's not it, I'm joking. Why do we fast for Nativity? Come on guys, I'm going to start picking on people. Why do we fast on... Go on Sophie, what did you say? Biscuits?
It's the birth of Jesus.
So don't get more points. We're fasting for the birth of Jesus. It literally says it exactly, guys, it's not hard. Honestly, it's not rocket science. I'm not trying to trick you. It literally says it on the screen because we're preparing for Jesus' birth. It's honestly, it's not that hard. Come on. So, yes, the reason we fast the Nativity fast, which begins roughly around November time, which, in case if you're wondering, the Gregorian calendar is 29 Kiah. No, sorry, 29 Kiah is when we celebrate it, because they made the Shahad Kiah. You know what that is?
Yes.
You do know? Okay. Yes? No? If you don't know, tell me. You do know? Okay, alright, fine. So we celebrate it in the 29th of Kiah, which is the equivalent of 7th of January. Did you say no, sir? What, the 6th? It's not. So, technically, yes but no. So we start celebrating on the 6th, but officially it's the 7th. So we go to church on the 6th, but by the time supposedly we leave church, it's then the 7th. Yeah? Cool. So, we've done the Nativity, we've done Lent, Palm Sunday, Annunciation, the Epiphany, which by the way, the Epiphany follows on from the Nativity fast. So, roughly, I think this year, was it the 19th of January? 19th of January, got good memory after all. So this year, the Epiphany was on the 19th of January, and again, so that was just a day's fast, where we fasted and went to church. Did you guys go to church? You did? You don't know?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, sorry, I you don't know. My bad. Then we have, like I said, the Apostles' Fast. Why do we fast for that? Again, guys, it's not a trick question. Why do we fast for the Apostles? We won't move on till you get it, come on. Come on, it's not hard.
I could be wrong. Is it celebration of the apostles?
Yes. Or it's
Mission and service.
well done. Well done. Well done. You want to say something? You sure?
Can anyone tell me when the Apostles' Fast starts?
Come on.
It is right. Great reading skills. Exactly. So the day before the fast starts is when the Holy Spirit descended and gave them the ability and the mission to kind of go out into the world and start serving. So we use it the day after Pentecost, all the way until July 12th, which was when the day St. Peter and St. Paul were martyred. We use that period in remembrance of the mission and the service of being called to preach the word as the apostles did.
In Arabic, you know the Khamsin? So, during the Khamsin, we don't fast on Wednesdays and Fridays either. So, you know, in any other time, we'll fast on a Wednesday and a Friday. During the Khamsin, we don't fast Wednesdays and Fridays. Alright? That was the Apostles. Last but not least, St. Mary's fast. What did you say? What do you know when it is? When? August. Well done. It is in August. When in August? Because this is a little bit of a controversial question. When does it start? Sorry?
Usually on the 20th or 21st of August.
Starts.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's usually the 7th, I think.
It's usually the first, after the first week. No, the 7th. Take the title in it. Man, it says the 7th. However, there are some people that do fast from the first. Now, the church's view on fasting from the first, that's something personal. It's not, some people say it's not allowed, some people say it is allowed. But that's something between you, your father of confession, well, and God really. Because if it's something, so, you know, what's the name in English? A vow. You know, like get married, that kind of vow? This is a lot worse. Not to imply that marriage vows are bad, FYI. But, yes, so when you have a vow with Christ, right? You say that if this happens or something was to happen, I promise that I will follow the other. So, for example, my wife, she fasts on the 1st of every month. The 1st of August, not every month, that's too many fasts. The 1st of August is when she'll start fasting. And the reason being is because the other, she asked something of her, and she made it happen. She spoke to her father of confession, and he then said, since it's happened, then you can fast on the 1st. Some people will say no, it's not allowed. But again, it's something between you, your father of confession, and the other, and obviously God. But yes, 7th is when it starts. Normally it's around 2 weeks. So, yeah. Alright? Those are our 7 major. Oh, there we go. Then we have our 7 minor. Same? Well, you got to make baptism for this, not me. So, no. I said to Babsy, I said to him, this is what I've got. And he said, no, don't do this.
I really apologize. If we look at the church, and what Nemo's got, we'll use this as a baseline, and we'll still go through the rest of the slides, but the church celebrates 14 feasts. 14, 1-4 feasts. Feast is the celebration date. Ignore the fasting for a second. We celebrate 14, 1-4 feasts. 7 major feasts, all related to Christ and his act of salvation for us. So the 7 major feasts all revolve around Christ, the act of salvation, the act of redemption, the act of restoring us to himself and to God. So if we're looking at them, they start off from the Annunciation, when St. Mary was told she was going to give birth. Then they go through Nativity, the birth of Christ. That itself was the start of the act of salvation. We go through Epiphany, and that shows the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Palm Sunday, him entering into Jerusalem, that is seen as a major feast, because it is bringing in the salvation journey. Covenant Thursday, which is the establishment of the communion. Good Friday, Resurrection, Annunciation, Pentecost, Ascension and Pentecost. All of these 7 are seen as acts of the salvation story. Then you have 7 minor feasts, which are the ones that Nemo's got on the screen. They don't relate necessarily to salvation story, but they are seen as pivotal points in Christ's ministry or Christ's life. From the circumcision to the entry into the temple, to the wedding of Cana, the transfiguration, and so on. So we need to make a distinction. Nemo had good stuff, not taken away from whatever he presented. It's just we need to recognize the major feasts all about Christ. So if we go to the previous page, we need to take out from this one Apostles and St. Mary, because they're not relating to the salvation story.
So that technically means that then this one, the Covenant Thursday,
Goes into the major
goes into
feast.
the major one.
Yeah, so there's a slight typo, we'll correct it, we'll kind of reissue the slides if anyone's interested. But 7 major feasts all around the salvation story, 7 minor feasts around Christ's life and his ministry. And then obviously we have other feasts and other celebrations which are related to the saints of the church. Be it St. Mary, St. George, we obviously have a feast day for him, St. Abraham, the Feast of Nineveh in 2 days' time. So there are other feasts and other celebrations, but when we're talking about major and minor, they all relate to Christ. Sorry, Nemo.
Don't worry.
Back to you.
Well, no, we were just having this conversation just before we walked in. It's,
Sorry.
no, it's all good. I'll explain. So, I had something, but then I sent it to someone, not to chuck them under the bus again. And they said, why don't you use this? And this is what I've done. So, don't shoot the messenger, as they would say. But, we'll call them, you know what, we'll just call them the 7 minor. Don't worry about fasts. We'll just call them 7 minor. So, yeah, so basically we've got the feast of the circumcision is the first one. We've then got the flight of the Holy Family into Egypt, which is then the second one, which comes into July. And this is where Christ blesses Egypt. Then we have the presentation of the Lamb into the temple, which is in February. Then we've got the miracle of the wedding of Cana in Galilee. The Transfiguration. Covenant Thursday, we said we're going to move into major, because it's one of the major ones and it's also in relation to the salvation. last but not least, we then got Sunday for Thomas. So, Thomas, we'll start from the bottom and work back and work up. So, Thomas, obviously we know the story of Thomas, right? Yeah? Yeah, cool. Right. Not a lot of shaking, but fine. So yeah, Thomas's fast. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki, but I believe it's just the one day. So it's just the one day. Yeah. So we just fast just on one day, and then we go to church, have communion, and then Latin and whatnot afterwards. So
It's already been the 50th day.
which means we shouldn't be fasting anyway. But obviously, because we're having communion, we need to fast. Okay. Then we have the Transfiguration. So the Transfiguration is all about divinity being revealed. Okay. So it highlights that Christ's divinity is shining through his humanity. So like Nico was saying, so with the 7 major fasts, it's all about salvation and what Christ did. But then you've got the minor, we won't call them fasts, feasts.
Or
Celebrations, better word. Then you've got the 7 minor celebrations, which then are whilst he was here, so So that's the difference between the major fasts and the minor fasts. Now, so I can go into each one into more detail, but there is a few more slides as to why we fast and whatnot. Okay, so, excuse the technical difficulties there. So, why do we fast? Let's start with that. Come on guys, so why do we fast? Don't read the screen please. Why do we fast? Come on. There must be a reason we all fast. Why do we fast? Come on. Is it just so we stop eating meat, chicken and drinking milk? If that's the yes, well, I might actually don't put your hand up as it says. So, why do we fast? Come on. Why does anyone fast? Go on. Why do you fast?
It teaches you discipline.
Discipline. Nice. Anything else? Girls, one of you, why do you fast? Just someone, quick. Come on, girls. Go on. Salvation. You fast for salvation? Okay, cool. I mean, that's a lot of fasting, though. Thank you. You fast for your own salvation, is what you mean, yeah? Okay, cool. Girls, come on. The boys are up too. I thought you said self-respect, and I was going to be like, what? Good. Self-reflection. Come on, anything else?
To kill fleshly desires.
To what, sorry?
Kill fleshly desires.
Brilliant. Good. So that is some of the reasons why we fast. So obviously, given how old we all are, me being slightly younger than you, right? I thought you were coughing on what I just said. I was going to say, excuse me. Life is busy. We have exams, we have friends, we have our phones, social media. We have a lot of distractions. So fasting is one of the ways that we can shut all of this out. Fasting also helps us to slow down. It also helps us to focus. So you know when you have, so we all get a bus, I assume, apart from those that drive, or eventually, we all got a bus at one time in our life. When you're on a busy bus, what happens? There's just noise everywhere. There's literally noise in every single place you can think of. Screaming kid, howling dog, mum shouting at her son, the bus drivers screaming and shouting. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's very busy. It's exactly the same. So when we fast, it helps us to slow down a little bit. It helps us to focus on where we want to be. The guy at the back, he said salvation. So it helps us down to us to then choose to how we live our life. Do we want to go upstairs? Or do we want to go downstairs? So that was very slow. There we go. So, what is the point of fasting? You've pretty much touched on it. It is to grow closer to God. Not only that, it's to train ourselves to be more in control. I think someone said that. Oksana, was that you? Who said discipline? No, it wasn't you. Dragon said discipline. There you go. So yes, discipline, again. The one in the middle is a little bit of not 100% correct, but to get ready for the Easter and obviously Christmas, so chocolate time, but we're just putting that in there just to mix it up. Unhealthy habits. Someone said that. She's gone. So it was her, I don't know, I can't remember her name. She said unhealthy habits or unhealthy foods. Again, that's one of the other reasons why we fast. But more importantly is to become spiritually stronger. Because at the end of the day, when we're spiritually stronger, welcome back.
Thank you.
When we're spiritually stronger, we then become closer to God, right? So, to put it into perspective, how can you be, so we'll come on to real life examples in a minute, but when you are full up with food, and then someone says to you, run 5 miles, are you going to be able to? No. You'll be lucky if you don't throw up halfway through, so when we fast, it's to help us, like I say, first of all, come closer to God. It also helps us to then focus on where we want to be in life. It also then helps us on thinking about other people as well. Because, again, you don't have to put your hand up for this, but how many of us have eaten way above what we actually wanted to eat? Michael, your hand up went straight up, that was quick. I'm not surprised now at all. But yeah, so you'll see that, or have you ever gone to a restaurant, you're really, really hungry, and you're like, you know what, I'll have this, and this, and on the first thing, you're already full up. You're smiling, so I'm going to guess that you've happened before, so you know what I mean? I've done it myself. We all do it. And unfortunately, it's because we're so focused on what goes in our mouth rather than what comes out of it. So again, when you're focused and when you're fasting, you starve yourself from something that you like. You become disciplined. You become more focused. You can control yourself. Again, in a minute we'll go through all of the real life examples, but what does the Bible say? And again, please don't read what it just says on the screen, because I know some of you guys have been doing that. So Jesus fasted for 40 days. Can you imagine that? Not being able to eat or drink for 40 days. I know you did, if you don't mind me picking on you, I know you do intermittent fasting, so yeah. How hard do you find it? Can you give him a mic? I know so. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. So, Google, sir? Yes, got the name right. So Google does, or did, or is one or the other. Anyway, intermittent fasting. And this is just intermittent fasting. We're talking hours, we're not talking days. How does it feel? It's pretty hard. It's not easy, sir. No drink. Do you drink water? Yeah. And that's with drinking water and he struggles. So imagine no water, no food for 40 days. I mean, personally, I'd die, but it's hard, sir. But Jesus did it. And again, you've got these monks that go up, sit in a mountain, days on days, and again, they won't eat. And there's us here. Wake up in the morning, and you're like, oh, I need my morning coffee. If I don't have my coffee, I don't have my tea, I'm just going to eat. And we're still on the bush, in case you all know what that is. So did you say? Did you say something? Oh. So we're very, very focused on food. And when we focus all our energy on one thing, we forget about everything else that's more important. So, again, prayer and fasting. I wonder if I can give one of them in a solo song. There's a fraction that all it talks about is fasting and prayer. It says,
Cast out demons.
sorry, I don't know.
Cast out demons.
Yeah, fasting and prayer cast out demons. Fasting and prayer does this. Fasting and prayer does that. It's fasting and prayer can do anything. So I wanna, apart from winning the lottery and whatnot, that doesn't count. So you can't use it on that. So I wanna try it. No, I'm joking. So yeah, you can't. So fasting and prayer can move mountains. Fasting and prayer casts out the demons. So, by fasting and by praying, we become closer to where we want to be. We become closer to the person that created us. You know, like how many of us, if they said to us today, give up something, and you'll get to see a loved one for the rest of your life. How many of us here would do it? I mean, I'd do it straight away. I don't even think about it. You know, it doesn't even matter what it is, you know? If they said, I don't know, what's one thing that you guys love, apart from food and... Cool. Shopping. I'm not picking shopping just because of the girls, but... What's the one thing that you guys like? Sweets. You just said sweets. Shopping. We'll go with sweets. Middle ground between you and the guys. I can't really force the guys to go shopping, you know. So if we say sweets, if someone said to you, cut out all sweets for the rest of your life, and you get to spend all the time that you want with someone that you love, would you do it? Yeah? Would you do it? If someone said to you, you can't have any sweets for the rest of your life, but you get to see someone that you truly love and spend time with them for the rest of your life, would you do it? You would, so? And it's because you care about that person. And this person is on earth, you know? So this is someone that's on earth. So imagine if they said to you, you'll be happy, you'll live a happy life ever after. All you have to do is just come closer to God, and that's all it's about. So, why should we fast? I know the question was, why do we fast? But why should we fast? Because again, people fast. So at the moment we're fasting for Jonas fast, which is celebrated on Wednesday, but because it's a Wednesday we don't not stop till Thursday. So people just fast. I can fast, cut out the milk, the chicken, everything else. But why? Come on guys, why? I'm going to pick on you in a minute. Come on, someone, why? Thank you, Rob. Thank you for saving me there.
So, funny enough, I was listening to one of he was giving me contemplation on that question. First, before we say why we fast, you said something about the fraction, which was beautiful, and was just overpassed quite quickly, which is fasting and prayer is what casts out demons. And we're asking about the major importance of fasting. So, I'm going to feel sort of went towards this verse, 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober-minded and alert. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. So evil spirits are always there around us, trying to devour us and trying to kill us. Then he goes to explain and says that the devil is a spirit. The spirit doesn't eat, nor does it drink. So the only thing it can relate to is fasting, and it knows the power of fasting through the holiness of God. And that's why fasting is very important, because that reminds the devil of the holiness of God. And every time we fast and pray, it's a way to cast him out, it's a way to fight. So it's the understanding of the power of fasting itself.
Thank you. So, how should we fast? So you have people that fast because Mama told me, Baba told me, my friends are doing it, so why don't I do it? Do you think that's right? Come on, guys. Yes? No? Okay, so say no. No. So, yes, exactly, it's not. You've got to want to fast, you know? You've got to have the desire to want to fast. It's not just about the food. It's much deeper than that. It's about trying to stop. So let's say I swear all the time. I've got a really foul mouth. If I'm fasting, but I'm still swearing, what difference does that make? I might as well just keep eating the normal food, right? But when I fast, I'm trying to stop or cut out something that's not good for me. So by fasting, by trying to stop swearing, I'm then growing spiritually. Okay? So, to give you a quick example, if I'm fasting and I'm swearing, and then you've got Marco who is fasting, isn't fasting, but then, for example, is trying really hard to stop smoking, for example, right? He's trying to stop something, I'm not, I'm just continuing, and I'm just fasting, right? Who's better off? Me or Marco? It's not a trick question. If you think me, put your hand up. If you think Marco, put your hand up. Oh, you guys don't really do much, do you? Come on, move your hands. If you think it's me, put your hand up. Come on. No, okay, Marco, put your hand up if you think it's Marco. Brilliant, finally. Yes. Marco's better off, whilst he's not fasting, and again, that's something between him and his father of confession. But the fact that he's trying to stop a sin that he's struggling with, that's the whole point of fasting. Again, going back to it, fasting and prayer, cast out demons. So by him trying to stop, it helps. It helps him get closer to God. And that's the whole point, as the Umar back there said, so I don't know your name, salvation. At the end of the day, it's all about our salvation. So, society versus God's view. And I think this is a very, very important one. The reason being is because, given our record, your age, society or peer pressure is a massive influence and is a massive factor. So society will tell you to do it because it's for dietary requirements. Society will tell you to do it because of image. Well, you need to fast and you need to do this because of image and whatnot. Unfortunately, though, that's not the reason. The reason we fast is because it's humility to start off with, and it's repentance. We're repenting. We're trying to get closer to God. Some people do it for comfort. Google not saying that's what you do, by the way. Just putting it out there. But it's discipline. When we discipline ourselves, again, we become better at what we do. It's like training. If you're an athlete, you're not going to go from 0 to hero in a month. You need to train endlessly to get to where you want. It's exactly the same. You've got to have the discipline to get to where you want. Society is all about now. With God, it's all about eternity and it's all about salvation. Going back to what was your name? Stefano. What Stefano said. This one we can skip. So, real life examples, or connections we call it. So, fasting, obviously, is saying no to healthy habits, unhealthy habits, I beg your pardon. But again, to reiterate, it's not food that we're just cutting out. We're trying to cut other things out too. Hunger, again, when we're starving, it reminds us of all those that don't have the ability to find food. Because sometimes we take it for granted. We We go home, food's ready, sit down, eat and whatnot. Again, people that are out there don't have that option. Some people don't have goes days without food, but then they still survive. And the reason being is because they believe that God will provide for them. Because they believe that if God's going to feed the animals of the world, how will he forget about his own children?